When you talk about winning, yes, there are people who know how to win, and when they win in style. 1997, that is in Brussels, where one man who is now officially the boss, talk about the president of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, yes, Paul Tergat, he was able to break a world record in the 10,000 meters final at that time. Yes, it is another day, another weekend. Welcome to today's edition of KTN Scotland. My name is Moses Wahisi, and today, be sure to get a lot in regards to what do we expect from the newly elected National Olympics Committee, and that is simply because I have the team here with me. Welcome, gentlemen and also lady. I'll start by just some brief introduction before we go back and see what happened yesterday, and I'll start with the lady. Probably just tell us your name, tell your viewers your name, and which department now officially do you represent as we come this side.
I'm Paurvi Rawat, and I have been elected as women representative in National Olympic Committee.
My name is Francis Mutuku. I've been elected the Deputy Secretary at the National Olympic Committee of Kenya. My federation which nominated me was the Tennis Kenya, where I'm currently also the Vice President and the Chairman in charge of player development.
I'm Paul Tergat, President-elect National Olympic Committee and member of International Olympic Committee.
I'm Anthony Kariuki. I'm the Treasurer, elected yesterday. My federation is wrestling, where I'm also the Treasurer.
Yes, you talk about money, and yes, I know a lot of people will be asking you a lot of questions about this money, but that is matters we are going to delve in just a moment. But before that, let's talk about that election process. Yesterday, it was a hefty affair, and yes, we have leaders who will be taking charge in regards to do with the matters of the National Olympics Committee. First of all, let's take a look what transpired at yesterday's process before we come back and delve with the guys who actually will be leading us in the next 4 years. Take a look. Paul Tergat, a former world record marathon holder, 5 times world cross-country champion, a legend in long-distance running, is the new National Olympic Committee of Kenya president. Tergat was elected unopposed after the General Assembly knocked out his only challenger, Patrick Muya.
It is the start of a major journey, a journey of transformation and restoration in our sport. Let me congratulate my fellow winners. I promise that together we will deliver. And I say together we will deliver. And I mean it.
Kenya Rowing and Canoeing Federation factions official James Mweu came with orders from the High Court and Sports Dispute Tribunal barring some federations rowing and canoeing, cycling, taekwondo, weightlifting and badminton from taking part in the elective General Assembly. The court orders also stopped former Kenya Swimming Federation Chairman Ben Ekumbo from defending his seat as the first deputy president. Shadrach Maluki was elected the first vice president, flowing Nation Ondiek with 10 votes out of 9, while Waithaka Kioni was elected the second vice president, winning with 13 votes to 6 that the AK boss Jackson Tuwei got.
I should expect the new NOCK executive to do things differently for the benefit of the athletes.
We're ready to take the office and fast track all the stagnated events that have been occurring due to the squabbles that have been going on.
FK Paul beat Andrew Mudibo by a single vote to retain his Secretary General post, while Francis Kariuki is the new Deputy Secretary General after collecting 15 votes against Football Kenya Federation's Nabea Murithi, who managed only 4 votes. Elina Shiveka was on a losing note on the treasurer's seat after getting 8 votes, losing to Eliud Kariuki, who was elected the new treasurer with 9 votes, replacing Frida Shiroya. One of the biggest losers was former 3-time world half-marathon champion Tegla Rupe, who lost her women representative seat to Parvi Rawal, who garnered 12 votes against 6. The elections was carried out under a watchful eye of South African Sam Ramsamy, who was sent by the International Olympics Committee to monitor the process, and he will have a simple message back to the International Olympics Committee.
We must look at Kenya with a very positive note, very favorable note, and all restrictions that have been placed on it should be immediately removed.
Moses Wahisi, KTN Sports.
Yes, they are all here, that people who want different positions. We are going to be talking about their positions, actually, what we will be expecting from them in regards to their leadership role at the National Olympics Committee. But now let's talk about the boss himself, that is Paul Tergat, in very, very brief. Because yes, Paul Tergat, you're here, and the people know about you, some don't know. But in brief, let's tell them, who is Paul Tergat, if one may ask? Born in June 17th, 1969, he was able actually to win the World Cross Country Champions title from 1995 to 1999. Talk about running, yes, he proved to the world that he can do that, and when he does that, he did it in style. World record in marathon from 2003 to 2007, so he knows well how it means, or what it means to break those world records. Talk about world record, actually that time was 2 hours, 4 minutes and 55 seconds, and that record was set in 2003, but later it was broken in 2007. Named the UN World Food Programme Ambassador in 2004, is also an IOC member from 2003. Welcome again, gentlemen, and also the lady. Paul Tergat, how does it feel actually to have taken this leadership role? Now you are the president, and a lot will be expected from you.
Thank you very much. You realize that after yesterday's elective General Assembly, yes, when I felt that I've really won, it was not actually for me. I think it's also for Kenya. And to this, I want to assure that the country that I have a strong team, that we are going to work and we're going to deliver. All said and done, we have a lot of work ahead of us. I know the expectations of Kenyans is so huge, and they want to see a team that are going to deliver, not fighting together again to deliver for the sportsmen and women of this country.
Before I engage your team, probably tell us, where should we start? What is the starting point? Because there is a lot that has happened. A lot has been in question in regards to the National Olympics Committee. Some positive, some very, very negative. But where are we starting now that this is the office that is expected to lead Kenyans forward in matters to do with Olympic sports?
One important step that we really want maybe to see is to see that the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, we have the structures in place, which probably maybe sometime maybe the cycle maybe stagnated, but we want to make sure that as a team, we pull together and make sure that everything is working. All the systems should be working so that we can be able, before even we go outside, so that we can see have a National Olympic Committee. If we are talking about the accounts department, we should be able to have people who are going to run that place. And entire administration, that is what we want to see.
We talk about accounts, and now I'll bring in Elliot. You are the man who has been tasked with that job of making sure that these accounts are proper. A lot has been happening in regards to how finances have been used in National Olympics Committee. And people I know, at a time will come and people will say, oh yeah, we want this money, or this money needs to go there. And that is a decision that will be made by the entire team. But you will be handling that sensitive docket. How prepared are you to do that?
Well, as prepared as I can be. As Mr. Tergat has said, once you have structures in place, everything falls within the structures. And of course, in terms of figures, we'll have to look at the whole, where are we taking over from, and how are we going to gain back what we've lost, and what are we going to enhance on what we are good at. And as long as, in accounting, as long as you have the structures in place, the budgets are okay, and engage the stakeholders as to the demands they want from us, it's a systematic system which works. The problem comes when people are not honest with each other in terms of how you want to engage. And I think the Secretariat and the team here will have short-term and long-term strategic plans. We have to look at what is the immediate need that we have, what is our status right now, have we lost stakeholders who we need to bring back, for example? Are we okay with the government, who is our major stakeholders? And once you gain the confidence of the people, people love sports, and they will always come on board. Once the money is in, it is incumbent of the whole committee to sit down and agree. He was a member of that committee, and he can tell you teamwork is something which is necessary. And if that works, we can assure you things will roll over.
Mutukuna, I'll shift focus to you in a little bit. Maybe people will say you are on a safe hand because you are the Deputy Secretary General, and in that matter, your boss is a person who was in that office, FK Paul, because he was able to defend his seat and people voted for him. You feel safe and you feel that you will deliver?
I do not feel safe, certainly, but in terms of delivering, I will deliver. Simply because I look at that office as the engine room. And all we need to do is make sure that the engine is running smoothly. I feel that for very many years, attention has been too much on the NOC executive. My feel is that that's the wrong place to focus on. The NOC executive should be running activities such that our focus is back to the athlete and back to the player. So my immediate input, which I bring to the team, is that we establish a secretariat in a functional way which allows the federations to do their work. As you saw, lead up to the elections, there were quite a number of issues in terms of federations. And we are an organization which brings the federations together. So if one federation is not stable, it's not moving forward the way we can do it, whatever we wish to deliver cannot be delivered because we cannot go and run their affairs. We need to support in very many ways the good governance structures for our members so that they can run that federation well, so that what we do at the National Olympic Committee offices is to coordinate those activities, looking at the programs, looking at the activities, being present. And one of the things we'll be doing is that we are not going to be in the office. We want to be with the people where it matters. So on a particular weekend like this, we are not seated at the Mombasa Road. We are where activities are, so that even as we get the paperwork, we have a feel, we know the players, we know what the activities they are doing. And that calls for a lot of work, not just for myself as the Deputy Secretary, not just for us as an executive committee, but all the federations who are members.
Porvi, I know your role will be majorly in making sure that the issues about our women are catered for and not actually missing their part at the committee level. Probably, what should we expect? Because a lot is happening in matters to do with the women in sports and also the women in different leadership roles. But now, Kenyan women sports is not as high as the men's. A person might argue is not as high as our men. Probably, do you think that a lot has been done to make our women feel more comfortable in regards to their participation in the different sporting fields that we have in the country?
My personal opinion is that women are alert. They know what they want and where they want to go. Maybe they need a platform. They need a platform, they need a roadmap, they need a guidance, how to go about it, and then they are there, they have a talent. In my last term, per year we were doing one or the other projects. Now this term also, I'm thinking that we take sports, leadership, management to some rural areas, because we have been more focusing on Nairobi. So if we can go out and reach those women, those who are not, they don't have any connection with sports or management, I think that will be my dream in this term, by the way.
We've been on the bad books in matters to do with the International Olympics Committee, and we know Kenya has not been receiving funds. The support that was coming has not been coming. You're going in office at that point. We hope that these things will be reversed, but as of now, not yet. Probably, where did we go wrong to begin with?
IOC is here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. One is that it is actually the way things have been run in terms of accountability. And you see, for any institution, there should be where there's transparency, especially in the matters of Finance. IOC had been asking for reconciliation of some accounts for a very long time, which they never got. They asked for close to about maybe 6 months or more, and you are not able to support any document to the same. And that is why we were pushed. They decided to withhold our grant until now. Everything, all activities and all the programs that we have at the NOC, they are stalled. So we as a team, and especially as the president now, I'm going to engage with IOC so that as soon as possible we can be able to have our funds released to us as soon as possible.
I don't know, nobody will question that decision by IOC to maybe make Kenya suffer, in quotes, for actually stopping us getting that grant. What's your take on that? It was a decision that was made. People have been suffering. Athletes somehow have been suffering, but maybe it was for the better of Kenyan sports?
That's right. Those are the risks you take when you don't comply. In addition to what he has said, we also had issues with the elections. We never seemed to make progress with the dates and the squabbles. And letters have been sent to and from. Look, you guys get your house in order. So I think in addition to what he's saying with reconciliations, this election issue came about. But at the end of the day, this pushing, because we were, from the federations, we were forced to make sure that elections do happen. And with the reconciliations he's talking about is something I am aware about. I've been involved slightly.
Yeah.
Let me.
That will happen, and I like the idea that we will go back to them and ask.
Let me cut you because we have to fix something. But before we do that, some fixing, let's talk about one man, that is Sam Ramsamy. He was in the country, and actually for him, he was a watchful eye for IOC. A lot from him. A lot was expected from him in regards to see how the elective process would have transpired yesterday. But for him yesterday, he was a happy man because he's saying the message to the IOC will be that Kenya National Olympics Committee is heading to the right direction. Let's listen in what Sam Ramsamy had to say. How has it been according to you, and what's your take on the general exercise?
My view is that it wasn't very easy because of so much of opposition, especially coming from the participants who were going to be disqualified. And my view is that the CMD handled the matter superbly well. It opened up the discussion to everyone. No one was stopped from participating, although many of them were repeating the same thing over and over. But I'm happy to say that it's a minority that spoke, but that minority, again, was from a grouping, sadly, that didn't really have a voice here. But I'm happy to say that everything went well, and most importantly, I'm going to report to the IOC now that all issues regarding Kenyan Olympic Committee must be lifted immediately, and I'm certain that's going to be done during next week.
I know a lot is expected from you, the message that you're going to take to IOC. Probably, do you think that the National Olympics Committee of Kenya is currently at a state that will say the International Olympics Committee of Kenya needs to support the Kenyan committee?
No doubt. The IOC supports all the Kenyan committees. And of course, as you know, the IOC stopped funding and all other support for the Kenyan NOC until the elections are resolved. The election issues are resolved. It has been resolved today. We got a president, and we've honored the icon, which I believe is very, very positive for Kenya. And the IOC will continue now supporting all issues that Kenya wants, because Kenya is a very important component of the IOC, not only for Africa, but for the entire world.
Probably, what will be your message now back to the IOC?
I'm going to explain, obviously, what happened at the meeting, and most importantly, that the meeting was successful, and now we must look at Kenya with a very positive note, very favorable note, and all restrictions that have been placed on it should be immediately removed.
That sounds like a positive message coming from Sami, because he's saying that he will tell the IOC that all those bans that we had should be lifted. How does that make you feel now going to the office?
We are feeling proud. We have made it. So we are a good team. Good team have come up, and I'm sure everybody will take their work very seriously and aggressively work. And we are happy about those things.
There are issues that made us get to where those grants were frozen. Probably, do you think that now moving forward, we won't be able to go back to those nightmarish situations that kept us in the bad books in IOC?
One of the best things about being in sports is that from the experience, you learn that in losses, there are more lessons than in wins. So for the last 1 year, when a lot of these things have been exposed, they have exposed so that the federations who are members can be able to tackle them. So probably that's one of the benefits I would say has accrued to this process. People fund you, people support you, people are behind you. They raise up some red flags. We take long to react to them. But now the most important thing is that even as federations, this process has made them to realize they cannot just be sitting back and assume things are going well. There'll be more expectations, especially from our team, from the federation, that we need to make to them regular reports. It's not just the annual general meeting where we tell them what is going on. We need to make to them regular reports. We need to involve them on a day-to-day basis. When we have major championships, the country expects a lot of transparency in terms of the whole management of affairs. So we'll be looking at what brought us there, putting in place structures and plans to ensure that now we have better governance structures, so that when we talk of how was the team selected, how did the team travel, how were the suppliers included and given. It is public funds, it is public activities, and therefore we have to open it up to the public for scrutiny. We feel confident. That endorsement just tells us that's a kickstart. Go and get it right, and we intend to get it right.
Go and get it right, and yes, they intend to get it right. It is matters to the National Olympics Committee. You know, a lot is expected from this new team, and we are going actually to talk to them. We still have some few minutes, but before that, let's talk about Kenyan Premier League. We have different fixtures today. Yes, Gor Mahia is going to be in action, one of the games that will be highlighting the soccer menu in Kisumu. Gor Mahia against Bandari, that is a tie that a lot of people will be looking with keen interest just to see who will be able to get maximum points. Remember, Gor Mahia right now, they are leading on the summit of the log, and they want to get maximum points. Nzoia Sugar is also going to be in action, and for Nzoia Sugar, it is going to be against Western Steamer. Talk about the Western Steamer side. They have not been the side people expected them to be. They have been receiving some goals on their side, but yes, they are still confident that maybe they will survive the chop. Let's talk about Sunday's fixtures. For Sunday, we have different matches. Posta Rangers is going to be in action against Sony Sugar. Talk about Posta Rangers. They came to the league. They have made a statement. And for them, against Sony Sugar, nobody knows how that tie will fare. Thika United will be up against Kariobangi Sharks. Talk about Kariobangi Sharks. Yes, they are also debutants in this league, but they want to finish among the 5 best teams at the conclusion of the league. Will they be able to get that actually to finish among the first 5? It is just a matter of a few games, and we are going to know that after some time. Chemelil Sugar will be in action against Mathare United, and when you talk about Chemelil Sugar, they know how to score goals, but will they have what it takes to go and down Mathare United? FC Leopards, they are the big cats, but struggling big cats. Their tie will be away against Sofapaka. Ulinzi Stars will be in action against Kakamega Homeboys. That is matters to do with soccer. Now, when we talk about matters to do with soccer, I know people usually talk about different sports and different issues in regards to the different sporting federation. But one thing that cuts across is the issues about doping. Doping has been a menace in this country. And Paul Tergat, I remember in your acceptance speech, you said that this is an issue that you're going to tackle head-on. Probably how will you tackle this issue head-on?
What happens, especially when it comes to this menace of doping, it is a multi-agency approach that all of us will make through the other federations and all other well-wishers that want to see a clean sport. so that we can be able to thrive and grow our sports in a more good, positive way as we go forward. But most importantly is, most of our sportsmen, they don't have the information. So it is very important that the mass education has to be involved in this, and especially through the attack and all of us as a stakeholders. It's not only that it has to be up in Nairobi, but also across the country, so that majority of these young talents or young sportsmen who are coming up, they should be able to know what are the consequences of this. Because the most important for us is to make sure that we protect these athletes by giving them information, post-information.
And do you think we'll be able to achieve that and have that zero tolerance in matters to do with doping?
Yeah, we hope so, because ADAC has been doing a fantastic job so far. Just a few weeks ago, I read that the radar now is not too much on Kenya. They withdrew a few sites on us. But you know, doping is a continuous process. What you must understand is scientifically, we are getting new drugs as we go along. And also the people are beginning to know how to mask the same drugs. In addition, sport as an industry, everybody wants to win. So with these challenges that ADAC is having, it's a continuous process. But generally, Kenyans run clean, and we have that information with us. However, this will extend to other federations too. As you are aware, not much limelight has been given to even a sport like wrestling for myself. You know, not much attention has been given. So it has to be opened up. I'm not sure about Francis with doping and tennis in terms of the game that they play. But in massive sports like weightlifting, wrestling, judo, where there's a little bit of strength, ADAC has now come on board. They have engaged us. Continuous seminars that are going on, and I like that. And so something is being done, and it's a positive thing.
Something is being done, and it is a positive thing. We are going to continue with this discussion, but that is after this short commercial break.